Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. First of all, if you're new here, I post new book reviews almost every single day, so if you're looking for some reading inspiration to get you through the summer months, then maybe stick around. Second thing that I want to say is that I am filming in my car today and it is summer where I live, so this car is going to get very hot very fast, so I'm going to try to make this book review brief because this is the only place I have to film and it's going to heat up very, very quickly. So let's talk about today's book. And that is The Secret Life of Fungi, Discoveries from a Hidden World by Aliya Whiteley. So this is what the cover of the book looks like. Honestly, I pulled this off the library shelves mainly because of the cover. I thought the cover was really pretty with all these little mushrooms on the front, and it looked like a pretty quick read. So I also had a second reason for pulling it off, and that was long story short, I've been doing some hiking last fall and I realized that there were a large number of mushrooms around that I couldn't identify. I've never gotten into like mushroom hunting or mushroom identification. I'm not sure if I personally would ever be the kind of person to trust myself to pick mushrooms from the woods and then correctly identify them and then eat them. But I figured it might be interesting because I do quite a bit of hiking to be able to learn how to identify mushrooms, or at least learn some basic facts about mushrooms. So I decided to go to the library, the section of the library that has books on nature, and see what they had and what I could read, and I came out with this. So the one thing that you're going to know if you do read this is a light read. This is very much pop science. It's a very quick, light 130 or so page, 160 or so page book. And I want to stop here and kind of make a point, because I feel like when I say this is a light read, some people are going to get a negative connotation from that. There's definitely a group of people out there who believe that unless you are reading a 700-page nonfiction book about US-China relations or a 1,400-page tome filled with scientific jargon about mycology, you are not reading worthwhile nonfiction. So these lighter reads, I feel like there is, I would probably say, quite a small segment, but there is a segment of people who believe that if you read something light like this, it's not worthwhile. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. If you want to read that 700-page tome, that's a really great way to learn quite a bit about a topic. But I find when I am just getting introduced to a topic, when I don't know a lot about a topic, or I'm not really sure I want to commit to reading 700 pages about something, but also people who maybe don't have a lot of time, have young kids, have a demanding job, who aren't able to devote that much time to read, you need something that's a little lighter to either ease you into the topic or just fit the schedule that you have for reading. So while this is a lighter book, and because of those limitations, the author has to keep everything surface level and not go into a lot of the scientific reasoning behind some of the things that she says, I feel like this is a good starting point. I feel like these light reads are perfect for all the kinds of reasons I've mentioned before. So for me, I don't know a lot about fungi. This is something I probably last touched in a college biology course and then have promptly forgotten 8 years later. So I need a refresher. I need something to ease me in. And this is the kind of thing that gets me interested. It kind of gives me time to think about the direction I want to put my reading in, the direction that I want to take my reading, because maybe I don't want to read it. Maybe I read this and I decide I don't want to read about fungi, or maybe I read this and I decide that I particularly want to learn about medicinal uses for mushrooms, etc. So I feel like these light readings, and when I say this is a very light reading, I mean it's a very great introductory book for all the reasons that I just mentioned. So if you're looking for a book on fungi, you want something fun, pop science, something about biology and nature, that where you can learn some fun facts, but you're not committing to reading something very heavy or filled with scientific jargon, I can really recommend this book. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. Super light to read. That's why I mentioned too, if you're the kind of person who has a very time demanding job, or maybe you have young kids, or just have a lot of personal commitments in your life where you can't read something so heavy at this point in your life, but you do want to be reading some nonfiction and learning a little bit more about the world that we live in, I think this would be a very interesting place to start if you're interested in the natural world. Me personally, this was a great introductory piece, but I personally want to read a little bit more, so I am going to look for some more books on fungi. I don't say that to take away from this book, because this book is a great starting point, and I think if you're looking for a starting point, this is a great entry point for you. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great entry point. I think it's a great book to start with. I really appreciate Aliya Whiteley for taking the time to write this book. I had a great time reading it, and I think you might as well. If you have any thoughts on this book, if you've read it, if you have opinions on it, if you've read anything else by this author, or anything else similar to this book that you think I would enjoy, please let me know. I love to hear your comments down below, or if you just want to stop by, say hi, let me know what you're reading. I'd love to hear that too. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.